St. Genevieve is an amazing little town. It's time skipped over. And our project, which is called New France, the other colonial America, because this is a colonial settlement, is a different story than what anybody's ever heard before. The positive stories, if you can say that slavery was positive, it was positive in that the families were kept together. They were never allowed to be split to be sold. They were married in the church. The children were baptized in the church. They were considered to be part of the families of the families in St. Genevieve. And you could walk down the street in 1800 and pass a slave who had a sidearm on him, and he was about his business. It was a different story. Still, their descendants still live in the area, and they have found out what we were doing on their history. And they are so excited about what we're doing, telling their history. They've offered to be docents. They want to be involved. Father Marquette and Joliet, they traveled together, and they were there to convert the Indians. They were there to reach out with the gospel of Christianity to these Indians. And so they were there. They were not a threat to the people. They were not there to settle to take their land away. Because the Indians were their friends, and that's a key. Later, the military followed the Jesuits, and the military was there in small numbers. They weren't in huge numbers. They were there because trade had developed, and they needed to have the trade routes protected. When America was at war in the Revolutionary War, the only battle fought in St. Louis, or west of the Mississippi, was the Battle of Fort San Carlos. Fort San Carlos was a very important battle, but it was a point where the British thought they were going to be able to take the river. They were able to hold it off because all the supplies came up from St. Genevieve. They made things that were necessary to live, and in the process, was capitalism. This is what the free market is.
Yeah.
And they were able to create wealth, and everybody was happy. So, you want to talk about the word diversity. We've got diversity. But you want to talk about the stories, but we've got the positive stories, not the stories about tearing down America, not the stories about how awful everything is. But let's talk about the stories that made America great, and that's what we're doing.